Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted, as always, to be joined by Gregory Doyle and Niall O'Connell. This is the betting tip show for the massive undisputed heavyweight title fight between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk taking place on the 18th of May. Gents, been looking forward to this one. It's been a while since we've kind of done a video like this when there's three of us, which must mean there's lots of betting tips to discuss. We're going to do one each. As always, we don't know what each other are going to say, but it's really exciting. Different people have approached gambling differently. Some people kind of go for value. Some people just go for what they would call maybe a safe bet. But yeah, I'm really interested in in both of what both of you have to say. As always, like these videos, like it's just a bit of fun. Please don't take this seriously and think that what we're going to say is definitely going to happen or put a large amount of money on. Please don't do that. We're just here for a bit of fun. Niall, I'm going to go to you first. We're going to go straight into it. What is your betting tip for Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk?
Thanks for having me. We were just kind of briefly discussing there off camera, myself and yourself, and saying it was quite tricky to nail down something for this one. I was having a look around, and the first thing that caught my eye, to be honest, was Alexander Usyk to be knocked down at 5-2. Now maybe I could see Fury working away to the body here. I know there's the old narrative that Usyk doesn't like it to the body. Whether you think that's true or not, but I could see Fury kind of clubbing away to the body and maybe Usyk taking a knee to catch a breather. At some stage, maybe later on. So I think Fury could kind of rip the body up close and maybe put him down at 5-2. You can get that. But the tip I'm going for here, to be honest, is you mentioned there about a value or kind of safe bet. I'm going to go kind of on the safer side here with a Fury points win at you can get that at 2-1, which is still decent value. So yeah, since this fight's been announced, I've gone Fury. My mind has been set on a Fury points win. I can't see him stopping Usyk, even though I mentioned he could put him down, but I don't think he's going to put him down for the count. So the tip I'm more confident on will be a Fury points win at 2-1. So yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, for sure. Look, obviously, like we don't know what the tactics and the game plans are here, do we? Like we're not in Fury Usyk's camps, so it's a difficult one to predict what's going to happen. But you would think that possibly a Tyson Fury game plan could be to possibly kind of fight dirty. It could be a similar performance to an extent at the performance against Vladimir Klitschko all those years ago, where it is quite scrappy. He never really looks like stopping the guy, but he gets the job done on points. Some people are possibly expecting that sort of performance from Tyson Fury. It's a 50-50 fight, so there is some value there, and I think you picked out a really good tip there, Niall. Greg, I'm gonna go to you. What have you got for us?
Yeah, thanks, Elliot. It's really interesting stuff from neither because I'll be honest, that one caught my eye as well, the 5-2. But I was thinking on it on the different end of the scale because there's a part of me that can see Fury working hard to the body and getting caught on the way in, and we've seen Fury down 7 times or so in his career, and it's not always the biggest puncher that puts him down. On this one, Elliot, I'm going to go for my biggest ever tip on the betting show. I've got a 22-1 shot that I think it's got a great chance of coming in if the fight goes the way that I think it may go. I'm still quite undecided on the outcome of the fight, but my tip here is I've seen 22-1 for Oleksandr Usyk to win by split decision on Saturday the 18th, and I think surely with the class the man's got, he's adapted to every style and opponent he's ever faced. It's going to be a tight fight because he's fighting a good big man. So I think that's a really intriguing tip.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I don't have much more to say. Look, it's very at that price. It's very tempting. I think again, like I'll go back to kind of what a lot of people are saying at the moment. A lot of people are predicting this fight to go the distance and for it to be close. I agree with that. I think there's a good chance that'll happen. So I think, and again, like these tips, this is not a prediction show, a prediction video. This is about betting tips and sometimes where the value is in 22-1 is hard to turn down. I'll finish off here, chaps. And it's been a really tough one, and I couldn't decide whether to kind of go for something that Greg's going for and go for value, or go for something a little bit safer than what Niall's going for. I don't know about you, but it feels like the closer we get to this fight, more and more people are going for Oleksandr Usyk to win. And whether that's kind of people on Twitter, people like us who kind of talk a little bit about boxing, or actually kind of pros, ex-pros in the industry, more and more people are going for Oleksandr Usyk to win this fight. Therefore, my betting tip is Oleksandr Usyk to win this fight via decision. I've only got 2-1, so it's not quite 22-1, but Oleksandr Usyk to win this fight by decision is 2-1. So nothing crazy, but that would be my betting tip, which is still decent value, isn't it? 2-1. It's really, yeah, it's a really intriguing one, isn't it? I've got one final question, kind of moving away from betting tips, chaps, that I really want to get your opinion on. Is this fight going to go the distance or not? I think it's a really intriguing one. Some people are going for either fighter to win on points, and some people are going for a stoppage. We've seen Tyson Fury can really punch. Usyk won his last fight via stoppage against Daniel Dubois. Greg, I know you've kind of said in our big fight breakdown video, don't rule out a late Oleksandr Usyk stoppage. I remember you saying it. Greg, I'll go back to you. What are your thoughts on the chances of this fight going the distance versus it not?
You know, guys, this is one of those fights that I think it is so hard to predict any outcome. Nothing would surprise me. However, if you're going to say to the casual fan in the street, there's a good chance Oleksandr Usyk stops a man who's 6'9", they would think you're a bit mad. Tyson Fury has never, ever fought a fighter this clever, this calculated, who's going to target Tyson Fury in the body, by the way. Like, I don't think enough people are talking about this. Don't be surprised if Usyk can get Fury out of there, just maybe through accumulation, or if Fury's exhausted by getting hit in the body. But on the other retrospect, Elliot, I can see a scenario where Tyson Fury gets Usyk to the body and perhaps gets him out. I'm going to be honest with you, Elliot, I'm not going to be Paul Kelly and sit in the fence. But there's absolutely no outcome in this fight that would surprise me, whether that's going the distance or not. I would say the distance is favourable, but I have to be really open to it all.
Yeah, and I think, look, one thing bearing in mind is that you could say that both fighters got knocked down in their last fights. We know what happened with Fury and Ngannou, but Usyk, look, we're not going to go into that. It's a time for another video, but some would say Usyk did get put down by Daniel Dubois, and it wasn't a low blow. It was maybe in an illegal area, but he didn't get punched in the area that you don't want to get punched in. So from that, you could say there are going to be knockdowns in this fight, possibly for either fighter, possibly for both fighters. And I just think it's a really intriguing one when you just asked that question. Now, going to end things with you here. How confident are you that this fight goes the distance?
To be honest with you, I have to agree with most things Greg said there, in terms of the fact that this one is so hard to kind of predict. It's one of the hardest fights in recent memory to predict how it's going to go. That being said, I would be stunned to see a stoppage. Either way, if Fury stopped Usyk, I'd be shocked. And if Usyk stopped Fury, I'd be shocked as well, to be honest with you. That's the kind of least likely scenario in my mind of what would happen, as I mentioned. And as Greg mentioned, there is possibilities of kind of bodywork being key here. And I know they've both been dropped before. You know, Usyk obviously in more controversial circumstances than Fury, but Fury's been dropped by lesser punchers, but also way bigger punchers and Wilder. So it is tricky, but that being said, if either of them were stopped, I would be stunned. I think it's so close to call, but the most shocking thing here would be a stoppage for me for either man. So that being said, I think points being for either man is quite likely. And just to touch on the the betting tip that Greg gave earlier. I think that's a great show. 22-1 for a split decision is a great show, because one thing I can't see it being is a wide unanimous decision. So either split decision or majority decision is a great shout. So especially at 22-1.
Yeah, yeah. No, look, agreed. I think echo what Niall says. That really does reach out to me as well. All right, I'm sure we could go on, gents, but we won't, because we don't want to go on too much. Niall, Greg, really good to speak to both of you. Obviously, look, this is such a massive fight, so we had to do a betting tips video on it, and it's really good to get an exchange of opinions here. If you're watching this video, please let us know what your betting tips are if you have one, and check out the rest of our Fury versus Usyk content. Believe me, there is a lot of it, and I really hope you all enjoy it. Niall, Greg, thank you for your time, and I'll speak to both of you again soon.